allegations of Ajay Tavade, HOD of Forensic Medicine Department at the Sassoon Hospital. In this case, the family of the alleged accused teenager did all it could to manipulate people and also situations, coercing the driver to take the blame of having driven the car, calling up an MLA to visit the teen when he was taken for questioning, the grandfather's alleged network with some powerful men, etc., etc. It is more than obvious that there was an offer of a hefty bribe from the minor's family to doctors, prompting Dr. Tavade, head of forensic medicine and toxicology at Sassoon Hospital, and Dr. Srihari, chief medical officer in the emergency department, to alter the blood sample. Surprise, surprise, Dr. Ajay Tavade, despite being on leave, intervened to ensure a different patient's blood sample was submitted for testing. It may be recalled that Dr. Tavade was previously suspended for aiding the escape of a man from the drug mafia, Lalit Patil, from Sassoon Hospital while Patil was in police custody.
इस मैटर में जो 304 आईपीसी का गुना दाखिल किया गया था, उस केस में आज अर्ली मॉर्निंग आवर्स में 120B आईपीसी क्रिमिनल कॉन्स्पिरेसी, 467 फोर्जरी और 201, 213 और 214 आईपीसी डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ एविडेंस, ये सेक्शंस बढ़ाए गए हैं। इसमें कल इवनिंग आवर्स में हमारे पास फोरेंसिक रिपोर्ट्स प्राप्त हुई है और फोरेंसिक रिपोर्ट से ये पता चला है कि जो ससून हॉस्पिटल में सैंपल कलेक्ट किया गया था, जिसको वहां के डॉक्टर ने सील करके ये जुवेनाइल एक्यूज्ड का नाम लिख करके वो जो फोरेंसिक को भेजा था, वो सैंपल उस जुवेनाइल एक्यूज्ड का नहीं था। ये वो निष्कर्ष पे जो औंध की सैंपल हमने औंध हॉस्पिटल में जो हमने सैंपल सेकेंड सैंपल शाम को ली थी और जिसको डीएनए प्रोफाइलिंग के लिए भेजी थी, उसके तहत ये बात सामने आई। औंध का सैंपल ये जुवेनाइल एक्यूज्ड का है और वो सैंपल उस जुवेनाइल एक्यूज्ड के फादर के डीएनए से भी मैच होता है। मतलब कि औंध का सैंपल एक करेक्ट सैंपल, करेक्ट व्यक्ति का सैंपल था, परंतु जो ससून हॉस्पिटल ने सुबह में जो सैंपल फोरेंसिक को भेजा था, वो सैंपल किसी और व्यक्ति का था। मतलब कि ये सैंपल रिप्लेस किया गया है, ऐसी बात कल फोरेंसिक रिपोर्ट प्राप्त होने के बाद समझ में आई।
As of now, the father and grandfather of the teenager are in custody and the teenager himself is in an observational home. To uncover the truth, Pune police have sent the minor's blood sample to another laboratory for DNA testing. What is this if not a systemic failure, not failure but failures of the system? Has the rot spread from top to bottom? Before I go to the expert today, let me also bring you up to speed on a very important political development, considering the case has evinced a lot of interest from politicians like Devendra Fadnavis and Rahul Gandhi. According to Aam Aadmi Party leader Anjali Damania, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, made a call to the police and apparently intervened in the case. And to speak quickly and more on this, my colleague Brijesh Pandey in the studio. Brijesh, very, very important update indeed.
Well, absolutely, very important, a very sensational update, if I may say so, because it was very clear right from day one that that there were a couple of MLAs who went there, and there were allegations flying thick and fast that they were trying to interfere with the investigation that has been carried out. Now, what has happened is that Anjali Damania was an Aam Aadmi Party leader. She has said that it was Ajit Pawar who had made the call to Pune Commissioner of Police, and she's saying that that both sides should come clean on what exactly was the transcript of the conversation and whether the call was made to influence the probe and interfere in the investigation. Ajit Pawar has clarified. He has said that yes, he has made the call. He did not deny it, but he said that since he's a politician, there are many who come to him for a case and not, and since he's the Deputy Chief Minister, what is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to call a police or assistant police inspector. That is the reason why he called the Pune police commissioner. But this has further inflamed the politics as far as Pune is concerned. There are a lot of accusations and counter accusations which are flying thick and fast, Sudha. And this is the reason why, if you remember, Devendra Fadnavis, who is also the Home Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, and also someone who's from the Pune, had to go there, sit there, do a press conference, and it was only after that we have started seeing action in which 2 policemen have been suspended and 2 doctors have now been arrested. You can very well imagine that had this case not been highlighted the way it has, what was the end result.
Thank you so much, Brijesh Pandey. And of course, the public outcry over it is something that we cannot possibly lose sight of. Let me now invite PK Jain, former additional DGP of Maharashtra, to speak more on this. Mr. Jain, a very warm welcome to you on the broadcast. Namaskar, sir. I'm calling it systemic failures in this case, in the Pune Porsche case. Please, Mr. Jain, before I go to specifics, what is your opening comment on this? I mean, we are seeing it reads like a pulp novel. It's a page turner, as it were. Mr. Jain.
Sudhaji, it is a classic case where the politics, the misuse of official status, official machinery, and money power, the past connections with the mafia, everything has played a role. First of all, when the accident took place, the local, one of the MLAs from Pune goes and sits there in the police station. And he sits there for a few hours. He tried to influence the police investigation. He did influence it. The sections which were applied after 4 or 5 hours of the incident were rather light. 304A is rash and negligent act inviting a very minor punishment bailable case. After that, the accused was sent to the hospital rather late in the day. His blood sample was taken almost 8 hours after the incident had taken place. So, reducing the possibility of finding the kind of blood, alcohol in the blood, which would be in the prosecution range. We have 0.05% is the alcohol percentage, which must be there in the blood to say that the person had consumed alcohol and was under the influence of alcohol. So that was done. After that, the doctors stepped in. The doctors were influenced. I don't know who called them, whether it is the money power or it is that MLA who was sitting in the police station. He also tried to do it. 2 days back on some other TV channel, I had expressed precisely the same possibility. I said, we are all blaming the police. Yes, they are to blame because they reduced the charge in the first place. And second was the doctors also could have played.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to, Mr. Jain, that's what I'm going to ask you, because I have to take a break right now, sir. That you cannot possibly absolve the police or the doctors. They are doing a job. These are men in uniform in a white coat. You can't possibly absolve them. And at the center of all this are the influential parents of this alleged accused, the teenager. All that.
And the politicians.
Yeah, and the politicians. After the break, we'll get back to PK Jain, former additional DGP, Maharashtra.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Healthy mind can reside only in a healthy body.
That is the only cure for the restless mind.
Happiness is a choice.
The fastest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy.
World premiere on the 1st of June, only on News 9 Live.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
I don't think anybody has isolated Ajit Dada Pawar. Ajit Dada has isolated himself that led to a lot of bad blood between the ruling partners.
It is not true. You know it very well, who these elements are, who these individuals are. And these are the very reasons why you see a division in the party.
Now, this contest between Supriya Sule and Sunetra Pawar is really a proxy war between uncle and nephew, and it's being fought in the family bastion of Baramati.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान की।
All right, our main story today is systemic failures in the Pune Porsche case, and I have with me PK Jain, former additional DGP of Maharashtra. Mr. Jain, a lot of people have been sending me questions. They say now the police is planning to send his blood samples, the alleged accused blood samples, to a laboratory. What is the use, sir? What kind of a blood report will you get? They may as well take mine or yours. Why are they doing it now?
There are two, the second blood sample, let me clarify the things. The first blood sample was taken at 11 in the morning. The second sample was taken in the evening, precisely for this reason that the top police officials in the city suspected that something wrong has happened with the first blood sample. And that's why the second blood sample was taken, though the traces of alcohol would be very, very minimal. The same blood was sent for, same accused blood was sent in the morning or not, that was precisely to be established. Now, after so late in the evening, if they take a second blood sample, it is not going to be of any use as far as the investigation is concerned, because the percentage of alcohol in the blood will not be to the extent which is required for this kind of a case.
Right.
But number one is will establish that there was some alcohol in the blood, and secondly, with all this, the subsequent investigation and finding that the doctors had tampered with the samples and they are also being prosecuted, they are also being made accused, the main case gets strengthened, because we do not register a separate case against the doctors. The doctors are made accused in the same case. Additional sections are applied.
But sir, I want to ask you, Mr. Jain, एक minute, I want to ask you, how will this be treated in the court? Will the court say that we are not bothered about the doctors being in cahoots and they being bribed and all that? This is the blood report that has been given and it has this much of alcohol in it. See, the 6-hour gap where apparently the alleged accused was given some water to drink, and you know, a lot of alcohol remnants, residuals may have even flushed out of his system. How will the court, sir, take cognizance of this, Mr. Jain?
See, Sudhaji, blood sample is only one of the pieces of evidence which will be produced in the court. I am just giving a hypothetical example. In this case, suppose we say that the accused was not under the influence of alcohol, and then he drives a car rashly, a car for which he has no driving license, a car which is not registered, and at so late in the evening he is driving rashly and killing two persons, itself will invite the charge of 304. 304, in fact, if you ask me honestly, whether he had consumed alcohol or he had not consumed alcohol, the very fact that his rash and negligent act, which the accused knew could have caused an accident and caused the loss of lives of innocent people, itself is good enough for inviting the charge of 304. And that is precisely what is being done. Alcohol is only a small part of the evidence which is to be collected. If it is not there, there's plenty of technical evidence, there's plenty of human evidence, eyewitnesses account and everything, which will nail the accused for this charge of rash and of this charge of culpable homicide. Because when he was driving the car at such speed, he knew that his car could have caused an accident and take the lives of innocent people.
Mr. Jain,
So
I want to...
Mr.
Jain, go ahead, finish your point, sir, then I'll ask you.
I said either way, whether it is proved whether he had consumed alcohol or not consumed alcohol, the main charge of 304 is going to stay. And to my evidence, see, they try, the accused, his parents tried to introduce all kinds of diversions. They wanted the driver to take the blame that he was driving the car, which usually happens all over India. That you fix some poor fellow, the driver in this case is the most likely
in the Salman
victim.
Khan case also, Mr. Jain, I remember.
See, there, ma'am, what had happened was there were many other things which probably you may not be aware. One constable went missing in Salman Khan's case. The poor fellow was prosecuted so much at that point of time, but that time probably the media and the social pressures were not that strong. This time, the guy was caught on the spot, and he was hammered by the people. He was arrested from the spot itself. So there was no way that he could get away and put the blame on the driver. Had he escaped from the spot, then probably it would have been a job for the police to ensure that, yes, to prove that this was the accused. But here in this case, he was caught on the spot. He was beaten by the people. There were eyewitnesses who stuck to their account, who did not change it despite the police pressure. I'm told there was police pressure for them not to give this kind of a testimony. Yet they stuck to their account.
Mr. Jain, I also want to ask you that, this whole systemic failures, if you look at it, what makes, usually, I know you police officers seldom want to give press conference, you avoid it. But it's become now very, very common. We started seeing this during the Arushi case in Noida. Then we started seeing it in the Peter Mukherjee case, where ghadi every day you saw Mr. Rakesh Maria giving press conferences. And now this is the third. What was the need? So I'm coming to my point is, Amitesh ji giving press conference, ye nahi hua, this is what happened. This did not happen, this is what happened. Also, the kind of twists and turns that this case has taken, an MLA being sent, meeting the alleged accused, that's what, offering pizza, whatever it is. I do not know the truth. It's pretty much like the biryani truth, which was actually circulated during Kasab's imprisonment. So I don't want to really, but look at it. Also, the grandfather calling up some very influential people who have a nefarious kind of a history background. Mr. Jain, it can't get worse than this, Mr. Jain. That every level, sir, ki wo jo 24-year-old two people are dead, techies, it was their first job, They had studied and they had come to Pune to actually start working. It's all gone. Today we are grappling with the systemic failures of this case. Even the bail thing, sir. First telling him you write an essay, go to RTO, do this, achhi sangat rakho. Then sending him to an observation home. Sir, don't you think this will go down in history as one of the most failed case ever, sir, before you start investigations?
Yeah, I mean, in the initial stages, yes. In fact, this order of the Juvenile Justice Board was given by one administrative member of the board. The judicial member was not present. The other member was not present. So only one member heard the case and gave the permission for this fellow to go home. And subsequently, under the media pressure and under the social media pressure, he had to revise his judgment and then send him to a remand home. It's very, very unfortunate. See, all agencies have been compromised. The initial police investigation, they did not report the case to the control room. They try to handle it, for whatever reasons. They try to handle it. Now they are paying for it by getting suspended. Then the Juvenile Justice Board. After that, the doctors. And then in the meantime, the entire khichdi has been cooked by the politicians, the money power, the corrupt policemen, the corrupt doctors. Think of what? I mean, my heart goes out to those two young lives and their family members who lost their lives and who lost their near and dear ones.
All right. But and also, I think it's such a big blot on one of the most iconic hospitals in Pune, the Sassoon Hospital. It is iconic. These doctors, Tavade and the other doctor, both of them, what they have done, it's a blot on their profession. And also, it is, like you said, insulting the souls of those two young 24-year-old techies. Mr. Jain, thank you so much. I've completely run out of time.
I'll just take half a minute more. See, the entire police working depends on the system of doctors, prosecutors, and the court, and magistracy to some extent. Now, if any of these systems fails, now in this case, the doctors, even if the policeman would have done an honest investigation, if the doctors decides to fake the results or take a dummy blood sample for testing, the case would have gone to dogs. Secondly, now after the investigation is completed, the prosecutors will take over. If there's no honest prosecutor to prosecute this case and present it properly, cogently before the court, the case will go to dogs. and then we have to have an honest judiciary so that the case is taken to its logical conclusion. We are dependent on so many factors in the entire, till the time the case is decided and results into conviction. So that I'm thankful to you that you are trying to bring out all these facts before the public, and I hope it becomes an iconic case for the corrupt officers
and also becomes an example of how there is a systemic failure. Thank you so much, Mr. Jain. It was a pleasure having you on the show, sir. Thank you indeed. And I'm going to take a break now in the show, but when I come back, we're going to talk about, is the BJP in Karnataka all set to go for a major revamp? That's the next story which is coming up.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories you tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless.
Mind and body are entangled sensations.
That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
World premiere every Saturday on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
All right, that's our second story coming up on the South Indian Karnataka BJP to make changes. You know what? Karnataka was the only South Indian state where the BJP ran a government. But with the downfall of the Bombay government began the downfall of the party in the state. History is witness to how B.S. Yediyurappa was taken screaming and shouting, dragging him away from the CM's chair. We saw the exits of Lakshman Savadi and Jagadish Shettar, who of course returned later, the open rebellion by K.S. Yediyurappa, and in the latest, the sudden and abrupt shifting of BJP State Organizing General Secretary G.V. Rajesh, who had one more year left in his 3-year term. Is the Karnataka BJP all set to go on a major revamp? You know, I'm going to speak to Bansi Kalappa, who thinks that a revamp is on the anvil post 4th of June, the possible sidelining of B.L. Santosh and also B.S. Yediyurappa. The reasons are several. There is confusion, there are corruption charges, lack of unity and open rebellion in a party which is known to be cadre-based and extremely disciplined. Most importantly, the alliance with the JDS, which has done the BJP irreparable damage with the Prajwal Revanna sex videotapes case. But it is also about how the Congress has grown in the state. Has it? Let's debate. Bansi Kalappa himself, political editor, the New Indian Express, is joining us from Bengaluru, and Vijay Grover, senior journalist and political analyst, is also here. Bansi Kalappa, your story as it in the morning. So, is this what are the if according to you the three most important reasons for the BJP in Karnataka to go through a revamp, Bansi?
Okay, first of all, when we look at Bharatiya Janata Party in Karnataka, we have not seen this kind of an infighting in Bharatiya Janata Party in Karnataka. So, right in the run-up to the parliament election, we saw in Chitradurga an open standoff between Hodalkere, Chandrappa and Karjod. In Shimoga, we saw K.S. Yediyurappa, former chief minister, openly rebelling, saying he will contest as a candidate. In Chikbalapur, we saw Vishwanath openly challenging the candidature of Sudhakar. In some place like North Canara, where Bharatiya Janata Party has been winning 7 continuous elections, we are looking at the previous MP, Mr. Anant Kumar Hegde, in some places very dissatisfied, and his supporters saying that we will not allow Mr. Kageri to win. So this kind of an infighting very rare in the Bharatiya Janata Party, but this time we saw it almost wholesale. All across Karnataka we saw this.
Bansi, hold that thought. I'm going to take a break, Bansi, and I'm going to come back, and then you can finish your point and also go to Vijay. I somehow feel it's also the Vijendra factor, the Yediyurappa factor, which seems to be spreading like a bushfire, where first time dynastic politics allegations have been made. Stay with us, back in a moment.
वो पूछते हैं कि हम कौन है गालिब, तुम बतलाओ कि हम बतलाएं क्या।
I told him, you do what you think is best, I will not insist.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
All right, we are focusing on this story, Karnataka BJP to make changes. I am being joined by Bansi Kalappa, political editor, the New Indian Express, and Vijay Grover, senior journalist and political analyst. Bansi, please finish your point.
So basically, we have seen this infighting in the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is extremely rare. So on such a wholesale, we saw this infighting all across Karnataka. So the most recent to get expelled was Mr. Raghupati Bhatt.
Yes.
Who was 3-term MLA, from coastal Karnataka. So he was expelled. So all these indicating that something is not well within the Bharatiya Janata Party. Of course, the Bharatiya Janata Party, earlier we have seen resort politics and things like that. But for a party that says is disciplined, this was extremely, a new kind of a development.
All right.
This is
Okay. Vijay Grover, hi. Vijay, I want to ask you that, we've been seeing this and discussing this for many months now. Bansi says that this is unprecedented, the kind of infighting which is there. Also, apart from the fights, Vijay, I think, the dynastic politics, because Yediyurappa said, I will not listen to the father-son duo. Who are they to decide? There were also murmurs from Shettar earlier, you know, when he had jumped the ship. Now, of course, he is back home. Several other people, even Raghupati Bhatt has said that, what is this? They make promises, they never keep their promises, etc., etc., etc. Do you think that this is the kind of virus which is spread across the Karnataka BJP, the infighting and also father-son controlling?
Sudha, what you said is actually right, for the simple reason that from the time Yediyurappa has come back to the mainstream politics, we saw the way BJP had sidelined him and, you know, not given him credence after he stepped down, and, you know, then they realized after Bommai government fell that, you know, there was need to bring him back before 2024, because there was no chance that the BJP wanted to take as far as the split of the Lingayat vote was concerned. Now, from the time Vijayendra and Yediyurappa have taken center stage and are calling the shots in the BJP, their focus primarily has been on the Lingayat vote bank, and that is something which has irked a lot of leaders from other castes who are not happy about the way, you know, the decisions have been taken. So that is something which is at the back of this entire, I would say, a small time rebellion which is happening. We saw Yediyurappa was the only one who flagged it in a big way, and, you know, after that we've seen that dissent or murmurs of dissent coming from the Vocaliga leaders or coming from the other leaders. This kind of, you know, friction that we've seen, and it, for people who have, you know, covered BJP in the state, will notice that the distance between the leader of the opposition, that is R. Ashok, and Vijayendra is very visible. Even in the floor of the house, we have seen 2-3 times that they have taken different stances. So clearly this is something where, you know, Vijayendra is facing a lot of, you know, murmurs of protest, and his leadership not being accepted the way Yediyurappa's was accepted.
All right. You know, Bansi, it's a very, very bad time really, you know, to kind of show that there is lack of unity in the party. The results are expected, you know, on the 4th of June, and like according to what you've written, the changes may start showing in July, August, September, whenever they are ready. But the point is there a nervousness if this is what they have gone to the people with, you know, that we are not united? It sends out, and that is so not BJP, Bansi Kalappa. What is it that has happened?
See, one thing is Vijayendra has taken over about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's too early to change the precedent, some say. So how big a revamp will the revamp be? We, you know, those indications are not clear, but it will be a revamp, because Karnataka's unit and the national unit very enthused by what has happened in Tamil Nadu, where without much of a cadre, without much of a, you know, infrastructure, they seem to be doing rather well as compared to Karnataka, which has had BJP governments on 2 occasions. Although if you take the other 2 occasions, a very small tenures. So if you take the 2 long, lengthy BJP governments, here, you know, because of different issues, that kind of a traction, what was expected is not being seen. So instead of being a leader in the, you know, instead of being a party in the opposition permanently, BJP wants to come into the reckoning as a ruling party, because remember, BJP has not won on its own accord even once. Because on the first occasion when they came, they had to resort to getting legislators from who are independents. On the second occasion when they came, again they fell short of a majority. They had to again resort to poaching legislators. So this time what they're working out is for a more comprehensive plan to ensure that the party remains in the reckoning, can be a ruling party.
You know, but Bansi, sorry to interject, in Tamil Nadu, you have only 1 star, Annamalai. The rest are all just fringe. Look at Karnataka.
Absolutely.
It has such an old history, no? When, you know, the man BSY, I mean, he and Yediyurappa started the party. There is R. Ashoka. There, you name it, and you can count 20 right now. So that is the difference in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, there has been no space for the BJP, sir. Whereas, you know, the BJP has ruled Karnataka. You name it, whether it's a Bommai, whether it's a Shettar, whether it's Dr. There are so many people. I want to go to Vijay Grover. Vijay Grover, tell me something. BL Santosh, pretty much after the debacle during the assembly elections where the Congress, he was pretty much sidelined. There was of course the caste issue, also the way he worked, all that was discussed. Today Bansi has written that he will be relegated to the back burner, and also B.S. Yediyurappa. B.S. Yediyurappa anyway was old, he was brought back, out of the woodwork and said, sir, please take over. So this is a return of the man, of the Titanic man. The point I am trying to make is, Vijay, is that the thing is that do you think that it needs to go back to the storyboard and really look at caste combinations and make that as a very strong thing? And also, Vijay, Prajwal Revanna case is a major blot on the BJP.
So the one thing is very clear, when Yediyurappa was brought back, it was only with the single motive of bringing the Lingayat votes back to the BJP, and that was the task assigned. And we will know after the counting is over on the 4th, whether he's been successful in this effort or not. And we knew that, as far as, Yediyurappa was concerned, there were people who were not backing him fully at all. At that time, be it BL Santosh, R. Ashok or Prahlad Joshi. All these people had been begging for him and always had wanted him to be sidelined. But it was the trust of Amit Shah which ensured that Yediyurappa had his say as far as 2024 elections were concerned. And in case the results are not good, which many fear could be, then we would see that there could be a political retirement scenario for Yediyurappa. Now, after this, the alliance with the JDS, a point that you have raised very clearly, has now got the BJP divided on the Prajwal Revanna case. There are several leaders who are not very keen to back Prajwal Revanna and JDS the way the party is seen backing them now, because they feel that it could have repercussions as far as the BJP is also concerned. And this is something where we could see after 4th of June what would happen, and maybe what Bansi has written. He's done his maths well, that there could be frictions which would come out in the open, and that's something which we are seeing in several constituencies. Sudhakar, we saw the way his own party cadre protested, or be it in Mysore, where Pratap Simha opposed Yaduvir's candidature. So clearly these things will come out on the streets after 4th of June when the results come, and clearly that would be something which will maybe become the catalyst as far as the reshuffle is concerned. And what would finally be taking the call will be a big thing. Maybe we'll know by another week or 10 days.
Absolutely.
As to which way.
Bansi, I have to move on, but one question I want to ask you. The Prajwal Revanna, of course, he's released a video today where he has said, I'm sorry, I'm coming back on 31st of, this month. But I want to ask you, has that been also a very big shame and failure for the BJP that they shook hands with the Janata Dal secular and they are regretting it?
See, for the Bharatiya Janata Party, the pain is in the fact that one of their party, the district leaders, Devaraj Gowda, had warned their state leadership that there is something like this in a CD or video form, which has more than 2,000 women, which is waiting. So this warning was made about roughly 5-6 months earlier. So the pain for the Bharatiya Janata Party is, in spite of that warning, they have gone ahead with an alliance with the Janata Dal. Now that is on one side. But looking at the present situation, Prajwal Revanna has released a video today. In fact, that has gone viral, in which he says he'll be back, and he says he went into depression. He says all those facts are all, whatever is coming, they're all far from the truth. Anyway, so the big question is anyone prepared to believe him? Because after the CD has done the rounds, after the pen drive has done the rounds, for so many days he maintained silence, and now he says he was depressed and he's released this video. I mean, all this is before the police. I won't get into the realm of speculating whether it is the truth or if it is false. I won't get into that, but that's a latest development.
All right, and on that note, Bansi Kadapa, thank you so much for joining us, and also Vijay Grover, thank you as always joining us on this broadcast. Thank you indeed. And the third story is stalemate continues over Hyderabad between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, even as the city would cease to be the capital of Andhra Pradesh on 2nd of June. That's coming up. There you have it, the Andhra-Telangana conundrum or stalemate. It continues. Come 2nd of June and Hyderabad will cease to be the joint capital of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. As per Section 5 on the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014, Hyderabad was to be the common capital of Telangana and Andhra for a period not exceeding 10 years with effect from 2nd of June 20, the bifurcation of the combined state. So, 10 years are over. In the 10-year window period given to Andhra Pradesh to build its own capital, the issue has been mired in the three capitals controversy which Jagan wants, and Amravati being the sole capital as mooted by TDP's Chandrababu Naidu. In view of the looming deadline of 2nd of June, Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy called a special meeting of his cabinet to thrash out all the pending issues like the distribution of assets and liabilities between the two states, which has been hanging in the air. You know what? Total of 245 institutes with a fixed asset value of 1.42 lakh crores are at stake. Of them, 91 come under Schedule 9 and 142 under Schedule 10 of the Andhra Pradesh. There are many properties, including the Lakeview Guest House, and a majority of these are prime properties located in areas. So it's almost like a partition. So let's try and understand who will really be impacted by this case. Prasad, political analyst, is joining us on the broadcast to speak more on this. Mr. Prasad, hi. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Prasad, who will be impacted more, Andhra or Telangana? Because according to me, the youth in Andhra, people in Andhra are feeling helpless, sir, that it's been like 10 years and they don't have a capital.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to the viewers. It's very clear and evident, even after having 10 years common capital as far as Hyderabad is concerned, we don't have any rights. The Lakdikapul assembly is concerned, we can only take part as and when the assembly sections are there. In certain blocks, only in the secretariat, we have given a couple of blocks. That time, governor is just showing a puppet show. Even after making some locks up to the respective offices, he doesn't even bother to share us. And the High Court is common for that particular period of 10 years. Now, everything is over. After 10 years, if you are rubbing the pains and the injuries, nothing will come out of it. At last, we have called Amravati. All correspondence are taking place from respect to central government. Even after they are not bothered to give voice that Amravati, we are making correspondence. Survey of India, we declared Amravati as a capital. It doesn't, central government doesn't even bother to announce that it is the capital. And the respective prime minister comes for stone inauguration and all, and he gives a pot of water and pot of sand. And he doesn't even bother to announce that Amravati is your capital and all.
Mr. Prasad, there was a Sheila Bide commission. There, of course, a lot of things are hanging in the air. For instance, the watershed, Krishna, water river. What happens to that? State-run corporations and like Andhra Pradesh State Seed Development Corporation, there are a lot of people, also people, the leftover Telangana employees allotted to AP during the state bifurcation. Sir, these are all burning issues. At least Revanth Reddy is trying to do something about it. But there, even Andhra Pradesh, Naidu is fighting with Reddy, then it goes to the Supreme Court. There seems to be no forward movement on this.
Ma'am, every time chief secretaries are only sitting for their chit-chatting sake. But when it comes to Revanth Reddy's initiation, you're talking about it. Only at the crucial hours, if you recollect, the Nagarjuna Sagar water has been dumped at the time of elections only by Andhra Pradesh government. If you really look at it, before the election commission, everything taken into their custody, Revanth Reddy initiates for Telangana separation movements, issues and all. As far as employees separation and employees things are concerned, before the partition itself, it needs to be settled. In the years of 10 years process, nothing has been initiated. If you really recollect, the electricity dues which were supposed to for Andhra Pradesh,
exactly.
They've given a different move for it.
Power dues are very, very important, Mr. Prasad. What happens to that? All this involves money. All this involves development. No. So, what is the forward movement now? Will they get an extension? Because comes 2nd of June, sir, it will cease to be the capital of both Telugu-speaking states.
Even after having as a common capital, Andhra Pradesh has not gained anything out of it because there is no use of it. In the revenue share also, as far as Hyderabad revenue is concerned, we are not even given a single penny per out of it. The Telangana, particular those things are, they are given a lot of considerations. But other than that, what are the issues to be resolved? They have never even bothered People in the NDA coalition government also, in the YSRCP government also, at KCR's 10 years term also, Ramanth Reddy new inauguration situations of the Election Commission.
All right, and on that note, thank you so much, Mr. K.S. Prasad, who joined us live on the debate. The stalemate continues over the capital of two Telugu-speaking states, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And as promised, I leave you with some of the other top headlines from the south of India. Thanks for watching. Vanakkam.